Hello, and welcome back to the Band of Misfits podcast, the showcase of controlled chaos, we like to call our friendship. Before we get started, it's election season in the U.S., all our U.S. friends, and I'm sure the other Misfits agree when I say, we hope you are all staying safe at this moment, and we hope you're all staying healthy, and we hope that you're keeping the faith. That will flip it blue. All right, let's keep going. All right.
That's where we stopped because we have.
That's where we stopped because we need a break. We all need a break.
We decided upon starting the podcast and upon starting our YouTube channel, we would not talk about politics, so that way people could come here and they could relax and have a break from it.
Yeah.
So that is.
If you're anything like me,
saying,
if you're anything like me and you really are politically active and follow everything.
Yeah,
you're
Panda's the one that's been keeping all of us updated on how things are going with it. So.
Yeah, so I think I most certainly need a break because I'm exhausted.
Yes. So Wolf has news. So Wolf has news. So I've been fighting something for the past couple of weeks. Y'all know this. You guys were actually worried because last Friday and Saturday I told y'all that I felt really, really sick. And I still do. I still don't really feel good. So Monday, because I talked to my mom and I explained my symptoms to her. So a lot of the symptoms actually weren't cold-like symptoms. I wasn't aware of that. So out of concern, I actually went to the health center on my campus and I got tested for COVID. I did get tested. So the fast test came back as negative, and I just got the lab results today. It was also negative, so I do not have COVID.
Good.
What the doctors think I have, based on my symptoms, the doctor said, I'm not sure, this doesn't make me feel better. So the doctor basically said, so you don't have COVID, but you do have 3 things that you're fighting.
Okay.
She was like,
I don't know if that's better.
That's what I said. I was like, do I want to know what I'm fighting? She was like, okay, so you are currently fighting based on what we've seen upon, because they did an exam on me. They're like, you were fighting a cold, a respiratory problem, and a stomach bug. And because you've been fighting them for so long, they're like, because you've been fighting them for so long, and because of school being so overwhelming and stuff, which I'm sure other people, if you're in school, you know how stressful it's been this semester. But because I haven't really had a breather for school between school and my internship and everything, they're like, yeah, your body has just kind of it's fighting these things, but these things are kind of just stacking on it. So yeah, I'm fighting 3 different things. It's not COVID, which yay, but boo, I'm fighting 3 different things. So
I don't know which would be worse. Yeah. Here's the thing, though, because I know, Wolf, that you have asthma, and I'm glad it's not COVID, because if I
had COVID, I would probably
that would be quite concerning.
If I had COVID, I'd probably be hospitalized because it would affect my breathing. Yeah. It would be incredibly concerning. Yeah, my parents were actually very worried for a moment that I had COVID, because they were like, we will come out and visit you, like at a distance, a safe distance, but if you have COVID, we'll come out. But no, so it's not COVID. But I did get doctor's orders on Monday. They gave me a written note basically saying I was excused from my classes all week due to the need to rest. Because I need to rest and get over everything.
Reasonable.
So I have been taking cold medicine for my symptoms. I've been taking various medicines for my symptoms, and basically they said, if you do not feel better by next Monday, if the symptoms aren't going away, which I think they are going away slowly, which is good, but if the symptoms don't get better, I need to go back on Monday and I'll be retested, which it will probably be negative again, but then they'll put me on antibiotics. They also tested me for mono when I was there, because they're like, your symptoms sound like mono as well. So they did a blood test, and they're like, okay, so you don't have it. That test came back negative, but your blood count while in the normal range, it's a little in the upper range, showing that you're fighting something. And then, like, based on your symptoms, yeah, you're fighting 3 different things. I was like, great!
My roommate has mono. My roommate has mono right now.
Dude, mono sounds like it sucks.
She's not doing too well. She thought she had strep, so she got a COVID test because they made her get a COVID test, which she was negative. We knew it was going to be negative because the back of her throat was covered in white spots, so we were pretty sure it was some kind of throat infection.
Yeah.
And so she got a quick swab for strep. And I assumed it would come back negative because of how fast progressing it was. It seemed like, you guys remember when I got really sick freshman year.
Yeah.
It seems like the same strain I had freshman year because it was very, very aggressive and very, very fast.
Yeah, you were fine, and then, like, literally within hours, you were, like, dying.
Miserable. Yeah, I was miserable for weeks. For those of you that want to hear this story, when I was a freshman in college, I got sick with some kind of weird, rare strain of strep, and I was sick for weeks. My tonsils swelled to the size of, like, golf balls, and I had to take steroids, only to find out that my throat was covered in the bacteria they said I didn't have. So I basically forced them to give me antibiotics, and I was better within 24 hours. And I assumed that it was going to be that, but my tonsils have never been the same ever since that happened. I'm prone to tonsil stones now. My throat gets sore more often.
Dude, at that point, they might as well just remove your tonsils.
I've been thinking about just removing them because I'm so upset that this happened, and I didn't want it to happen to my roommate. So, like, you need to demand that they give you antibiotics, like, immediately because, like, at that point, it's ridiculous. I shouldn't have been suffering as long as I was. And I
was all mad that they hadn't given you antibiotics. I'm like, you're absolutely miserable. You're clearly sick, and they're not giving you anything for it.
Yeah, I know. It was awful. But thankfully, it was okay. And I'm fine now. But I was like, you need to go get antibiotics. And she went. They gave her antibiotics. They gave her a steroid to reduce the swelling in her throat. But the steroid, after it went down after Halloween, she went to her sister's house to celebrate with a little tiny group, socially distant safe group, and she was like, why am I not feeling better? And her sister, who's a nurse, was like, your mono might have come back, because she had it in middle school. And for those of you that don't know, mono is like the herpes virus, where it's a member of the family that herpes is a part of, where it stays in your body forever, right?
Yeah.
And so it's entirely possible that her mono is back, which means that I probably won't get it because we don't eat after each other, drink after each other, or anything like that. And obviously we aren't making out on the down low, so I'm not too worried about that. But so she's like, at least I probably won't give it to you, but still, you know, I felt bad for her because mono is absolutely miserable. And you're not supposed to do much physical activity because your spleen swells. And
I was very thankful when my mono came back negative. They're like, yeah, your throat is swollen and
where would you even have gotten mono?
Dude, I don't know. That's what I was like, I don't eat after people. Like, I have OCD. I don't do that stuff. I was like, you can ask my friends. Like, you guys know, I'm reluctant to eat after you guys or drink after.
I don't eat after anybody either, or drink after. The only person I eat after and drink after is Joshua, because it's too late at that point.
I do it with my family. That's because it's family. Yeah. And even then I hesitate.
Yeah. Joshua, I'm like, well, it's too late now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, and if anybody gave anyone anything, I probably gave something to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I really doubt. When I was like, if you gave me mono, I'll kill you. And I was, so like, thankfully, obviously, I did not have mono because antibiotics cured me. But it was awful. So I felt for her. Man. Anybody else got anything going on right now? What about you, Muse? Or latte, either one. Herbal lattes.
Yeah, I was trying to sign up for a physical It's like a workshop for rotator cuff. Because you all know I have that injury with mine. And it's like, oh, check this out. It's online. And I signed up for it. Sorry, it's actually not online. It's in person.
Great.
So I canceled that. And, oh, Wolf, I'm planning on going to your doctor. Just not till January.
I mean, one, I don't blame you, and two, you told me before summer was over you were going to go to my doctor. What the hell is with the long wait?
It's because of so many freaking for the audience that's listening. I have way too many medical problems to where.
Wolf did too. Wolf had to get surgery over the summer on his right shoulder because I had a gap between my bones, which was causing me intense pain and stuff every day, to the point where I actually couldn't remember what it was like to not have my arm hurt. And and I'm right-handed, so it was really affecting things, so I had to have surgery. And my doctor was great, and I've not had any pain or anything since the surgery. It's wonderful. I can do things that I haven't been able to do in years. And so I told Muse about it, and she was like, oh, yeah, I'll go to him. It never went.
Okay, to be fair, I had to deal with a bunch of medical expenses due to teeth, because I have to get all my teeth replaced. I had to deal with some expenses due to a wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gave us.
Maybe we should tell that story someday, but not today.
Yeah,
not today. That was rough.
Yeah, but due to that and wonderful parts of insurance, we ran out of deductibles for now. So have to wait till next year.
Yep. I had to do the same with my shoulder whenever I was going to doctor appointments. I had to always wait another year. I had to suffer through the pain and stuff for another year which is why it took actually 10.5 years to find out what was wrong with my shoulder. Because I kept having to wait a year for the deductible and everything to reset, so then the health insurance would actually cover the cost more. So it was quite a pain.
Yeah, I think the funniest part is once Wolf told me who it was, and I told my mother, I messaged Wolf back. It was like, "Is this him?"
Yeah,
and
she sent me a picture.
He says yes, and I'm like, "That's my neighbor."
That's her neighbor.
That's so crazy.
I was like, just go over to his house and kind of like pop your shoulder or something when you're with him, so you can see how screwed up it is, and just be like, oh yeah, oh that hurts, and see what he says. She refused.
I wonder if the recording could pick it up. Do you think it could?
The popping? Yeah, it probably could.
Yeah, so for the audience, the problem with my rotator cuff is every time I rotate my arm, it pops. Like...
Yeah, that noise you just heard, that was a rotator cuff. It is pretty loud. Yeah, recording totally caught it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, but that happens every single time I rotate my arm.
Oh, man. Where's Latte? Latte!
There
you are.
Yeah.
Take it all on me.
Don't get it all on me.
You got anything you want to chime in with?
Well, I've been trying to study for an insurance license.
Ah.
That's what I've been doing with my life. It's pretty boring. Yeah, I'm looking to try to get a job soon. Maybe like an online job or an online insurance agent.
Yeah.
I was thinking might be good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing right now.
I see. So, would you be a translator for the company? What would you be doing?
No, just like a regular insurance agent.
Okay.
Well, we're proud of you.
Trying to do it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Insurance agents are helpful.
Yes, they are. Heck, we might be going to you for tips and tricks.
Yeah, honestly. Yo, I bought renter's insurance again. About a week ago, about a month ago or so. A little bit more than a month. No, 2 months ago, jeez. Because it went to my junk, and then I never got the letter that it was about to lapse, so I had to pay for it all over again, which sucked, but it was fine. I was like, well, all the furniture in this apartment is mine, and if the place goes up in flames, it's all gone, so
yeah,
here you go.
That would be very bad.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $50,000 to replace all my furniture. I was hoping. So thankfully I have coverage again. But that was quite scary for a minute.
I've just been using my dad's insurance because he gets it through his work and stuff. So, but I can only use it for a certain amount of time because now, 21, almost 22. They're like, yeah. So I think it lasts until I'm 25 and then it stops, or until I get a good job with good insurance.
Yeah, for me it's up till 26.
I'm finally off of my mom's insurance plan because I graduated. And so I'm in the market for insurance while trying to get an insurance job. It's very ironic.
Yeah,
maybe you can be your own insurance agent.
Oh, man.
That would be funny.
We're going to try to get like the insurance on whatever job I got. But because Corona's here, I probably should just get insurance just in case.
Yeah.
And so that's probably what I'm going to do.
I'm
going to try to maybe like call. I'm going to try to call like my mom's provider and try to get my own plan or, work with them.
Yeah.
But that's going to be like a chunk of change a month because I think I used to be like free or something, but now I got to pay. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, prices getting ramped up and stuff. Dude, I just found out what one of my medications are. So I have a medication for my anxiety and OCD. I just found out how much it cost the other day because CVS screwed up and actually charged me for it because I have to go to them and get a refund. It was $40. I was like, what the hell? I was like, you're charging
what do
that
you
much?
take?
It's sertraline.
Okay, different from my anxiety one.
Yeah, no, mine specifies for anxiety, and it covers my anxiety and my OCD.
Yeah, mine's anxiety, and like in panic attacks.
Yeah, they wanted to put me on one that was more specific to OCD and anxiety. So
yeah, there's a huge difference from paying $40 and paying $0.
Yeah. Right. Oh man, I have my senior recital in about a week and a half now.
Yep.
So I have been on edge. I passed my recital jury last week. So that's out of the way. For those of you that don't know much about how getting a degree in music works, if you're required to do a recital, you have to pass something called a recital jury. And juries are these things we do at the end of the semester as like a final exam for our lessons, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So at a recital jury, you play all your recital pieces, and then you have to get it witnessed by the person who's teaching you and one other, I'm not sure how it works at different schools, but for me, I had to get one other professor to come witness my jury, along with my personal professor. And then they decide if you get to play the jury or not. So
it's not threatening or stressful at all.
Not at all, yeah. But I passed, so now I get to do the fun part. Thank God. Yes, the recital is the fun part. Wild stuff.
None of us had a doubt in our minds that you would pass, by the way.
Yeah. Considering you play like 15 instruments now.
We would be shocked if you didn't pass, and we would storm up to your school and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? How dare you not pass her?
Oh, well, I appreciate that. But it was for violin specifically, but I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, isn't that like one of your first instruments? Like, I know you
my primary instrument.
Yeah, because you and I did that together back in middle school.
Yeah, Wolf was band kid.
I've been playing the violin. I've been playing the violin for more than a decade, so I feel pretty good. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, can y'all hear people in the background of a mic? Because apparently my roommate has somebody over that is very loud.
Periodically.
Okay, I'm going to turn my mic down a bit.
Oh, man. If you had taken 12-year-old me, 11-year-old me, aside back when I was in middle school and been like, hey, you're going to do this for the rest of your life, I would have probably laughed at you.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, Panda, I understand that process because at my school we have a very similar thing with our BFA program where before like our final show we have to present it, and oh god, sadly it's not in front of 2 people, it's in front of every single art professor.
Oh my god.
So we have to do it, and we have to present all of our pieces, how we would set it up, and we have to do our opening presentation speech.
So you have to, oh crap, and that reminds me, I also need to write I also need to write program notes. And those are due by the 24th.
Yeah. And then the final show, oh dear Lord, I'm only going to have like 3 days to put up my show, and y'all know the one piece that I've been working on.
You'll be fine. You've got this.
For the audience that doesn't know this, I'm going to have to use a what is it called? Pressure lift or whatever it is, because I have to be up in the ceiling to hang up my piece.
Yeah, you'll be using the lift.
Oh. But basically, I also have to write 700 to 1,000 word little program note essay about each of my pieces, and I have to send that by the 24th of November. That I'm not worried about, because a personal note, I've been in charge of writing the program notes for the orchestra concerts since I was a freshman, so I'm not really too worried about that, So,
yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited to hear your concert.
I'm excited to be done with lessons forever. So
yeah, it only took you 10 years.
It only took me 10 years, y'all, and lots of money, lots of my parents' money.
Yeah, college is expensive, folks.
College is expensive. Music is very expensive. I've been taking.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I got lucky. I've been in a smaller school. It was slightly less expensive.
Listen to me, people that want to go to college for music that are still in high school. If you can chill out the cash for piano lessons, I don't care what else you play, do it right now. Most music colleges, if you're going for anything other than a performance degree, require you to have proficiency in piano. So it is worth the time to learn it. I'm glad I did.
It is one of the easiest instruments to learn. If you learn it, it helps you with so many other instruments because you have to learn about the bass and treble clef.
Yeah, and most instruments use those clefs, except for the viola.
I use a C clef, but that's still not that hard. It's only one note
difference between them.
Yeah, above bass clef or yeah. So
it's
that's
one note. Well, if you're on treble clef, a B for a treble clef would be a C for an alto clef. So.
Or in easier terms, literally, bass clef middle is D. And then middle is C for...
Yeah, exactly. So, either one. Whichever is your preference, if you read treble or you read bass, it's still an easy transfer. It's really not that hard. I think people are intimidated by the alto clef because alto clef is only really read. Sometimes by tremolo, but most of the time it's only read by viola. So people look at it and are scared to death of it.
I think I'm intimidated by learning more than one instrument in general.
Yeah. Oh, that too.
Yeah. I definitely am grateful that I learned piano before I joined orchestra because thanks to that, I started off with violin just like Panda, But then I switched over to double bass, and that requires you to read bass clefs. So luckily, I already knew how to read that thanks to piano. So I was able to switch easily.
Yeah. I'm learning bass right now, and my professor's having me learn all the major scales for my jury. I feel good. Last week I didn't practice very much. He's like, I know you've played your piece right now better, but I'm cutting you a lot of slack because you have a recital in a week on a different instrument. So don't feel too bad. You've made a lot of really good progress. So I feel good about the bass.
Dude, I'm so excited to watch her. I'm so excited to watch it. I'm really looking forward to your performance. Like,
yay!
Like I literally cleared my entire Saturday just for that. It's on my calendar. It's literally on my calendar in bold. I've cleared everything from 12 because I don't know what time it is, so I just cleared my entire Saturday, and I was like, I can't do anything because I have something going on that day. That's very important.
Oh, dude, that's very sweet.
Okay, I had your recital correct on my phone calendar, just not on my actual calendar.
It's probably because you made a note of it, and then I think while we were discussing, you went to write it down in your calendar, and because we were discussing other things, I think you got the week mixed up.
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
But yes, it is the 14th of November at 6 o'clock. Very excited.
It's November 6th.
What?
Sorry, I noticed Friday is November 6th.
No.
Your recital's after Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I know. And my birthday is the day after my recital.
November the 15th.
I'll be 22.
Oh gosh, double check.
I just need to make a note for next week's start.
I'm so nervous. I'm scared of this. I'm really not scared of the recital itself because I passed the jury, and that was the thing I was nervous about.
Yeah.
In my jury, I had to stop.
Hannah, you got this.
I had to stop playing my last piece, and I so overcome with nerves. And my teacher was like, "You're doing great, sweetie. Just take a second and just start again, okay?" And it was fine. I got some hearts on my notes. My teachers were very pleased with me. And the bass professor who came to listen to my jury, you know what he said? He said, watching you progress as much as you have has been the highlight of my time here so far. Because he came to get hired. I know, I almost cried. I almost shed tears. He and I came to the school at around the same time. He was recently hired. So it was quite a nice compliment. Oh, I am ready to play though. And your showcase is next year.
No, she has an art showcase that we're gonna go up to. Wolf's already offered to drive people, so
I'm like, my main issue though is I haven't really done art. Thanks to COVID, I haven't really done much, and so I'm worried that I'm just lacking in wanting to do it to a point where it's like, do I want to continue with it? It's like,
you do want to. You're just burnt out and tired, and you're gonna be alright, you know. And I didn't want to practice it all last semester when COVID got really bad. And God, I'm sure many musicians can attest to this. It doesn't feel good when people are like, just do something else when it's your entire career. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, it looks like it for what I have chosen as my career. You know, the most awkward thing I ever had to do was, I was at some kind of brunch or whatever that was celebrating our high school graduates and talk about what they're going to go to college to study, and of course they came to me and it was a mic. They had a microphone and I had to speak into the mic and I was like, I'm majoring in forensics anthropology, and they were like, what's that? I went, I went, please if you are eating food, please put it down. And they went, why? What's so bad? I said, I'm studying human remains, both like murder victims and skeletal remains.
Yeah.
So like dead bodies, and it was dead silent in the room. Everyone was looking at me, and people were like putting their food down, like, "Oh, you were in our meal." I sat down, picked up my food, and started eating again. And the person next to me went, "How can you eat after saying that?"
It's degree, isn't it?
It doesn't bother me.
Oh my god.
And the lady went, "Well, that's lovely. Moving on." The lady with the mic said that. I was like, I told you didn't want to know.
Yeah,
I was like,
Latte,
let me go.
Latte, your degree is in Spanish, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, good. Oh man, I know you said you were gonna.
I did the couple things. It's so hard to practice. I got so burnt out at the end. I tell you.
Yeah.
It was insanity.
Dude,
you graduated so early.
Yeah,
I'm getting
good
burned out. My classes. I'm in a rut.
Me too.
Yeah. I would tell you, graduating early is nice to graduate early, but the amount of stress I put myself through, I'm not really sure if it was worth it, honestly.
That's fair.
That's very fair. Like, I was so surprised when I heard you graduate. I was like, wait, how the hell did you graduate in 3 years?
Good for you.
Yeah.
But wow, I couldn't have done that.
Dude,
I literally can't.
Yeah.
I could have graduated early, but forensics anthropology major requires you to have 120 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like there was no way I could have graduated early. I'm actually technically graduating early because most people complete the forensics anthropology degree in 4.5 to 5 years. I'm doing it in 4.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And then you're on 2 more years of college, right?
And then I'm going to 2 more years of college because I'm getting a master's degree. To get a good paying job in a government position, which is what I want, I have to go and get a master's degree, which is so much fun. So I will be going to the same school that you went to, Latte, because there's actually a forensics master program there.
Yeah, and my school was not that bad. I mean, it's pretty crowded sometimes, but it's pretty chill.
Screw your school.
Yeah, I'll tell you. My last couple of semesters were hell. I took over 5 classes. One semester it was, I think, 6 classes. I think another one might have been 7. My last one was 7. It was bad.
How many credits?
Huh?
How many credits were you doing?
Oh, well, and I would take summers. I might have only had 1 summer off. So yeah, I'm kind of burnt out.
Yeah. Y'all know, I always think it's funny when people tell me that they took 7 classes and it was so stressful, because the most classes I ever took in a semester was 15. And
You're crazy. You're freaking crazy.
Here's the thing. I'm not crazy. I'm a music major. Music classes only count for 1 credit most of the time. So you have to take a bunch for it to meet the minimum credit hours.
Oh, I wish. I would have been done so long ago if art classes were like that, but no, they're 4 credits each.
Here's the thing, it's 1 credit hour for 18 hours of work. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like my ensemble classes. My ensemble classes were 1 credit hour, but that was 2 2-hour rehearsals a week, plus concerts throughout the semester. And my seminar is no credits, but I had to go to 10 concerts and attend every 1-hour meeting every Friday, or else I'd fail and have to do 20 concerts the next semester. I had to take multiple instrument methods classes. I had to take classes where I had to go into schools, which for the most part, those were like maybe 2 credit hours. My ed classes were worth a lot more. And I didn't get to take most of my gen eds until I was a junior. So, like,
were the school kids like regular, like, schools, like middle schools or something, like for education.
Yeah, so when I had to go in and intern at I interned at an elementary school one semester. Right now, I'm interning at a middle school and a high school. My clinical educator, for those of you that don't know much about education lingo, clinical educator is just a term for the person that's teaching a class and supervising the clinical intern or student teacher. And there's a difference between a clinical intern and a student teacher, because student teachers aren't taking any other classes and they're working on their licensure. But anyway, and so he works for the high school and for the middle school because he teaches the band at middle school and the orchestra at the high school. So I have been doing that. And I go there from 8 to 1:45, 2 days out of the week. So
I tell you what, I was doing some teaching classes. I did one teaching class because I was thinking about being a school teacher.
Yeah.
And I had to do an observation.
Yeah.
I think it's for like something. And let's just say it was very interesting. I went to Bailey Middle School.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of schools that are called that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Don't worry about it. Did you say hi to Miss Peterson? Did you see Miss Peterson at all when you were there?
No, I didn't.
Retiring, by the way. Yeah, did you hear?
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Oh my God.
I did run into one of my old teachers, though. Actually got to observe in his class.
I would murder someone to have their job.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. I dressed up, okay? I dressed up to the nines because it was very professional. So I wore heels. I wore dresses. It was winter time when I did it, so I even had an overcoat. Buns, everything. I had my ID badge. I had my visitor sticker. And let's just say I got mistaken for a child. Why other children?
Man.
I was standing outside because I was trying to get across the hall to go into the teacher room I needed to observe in. And because, if you've been to middle school, all y'all have, it's crowded, it's horrible, it's even worse than what I remember. Like 10 times worse. So I was like pinned against the wall, just waiting for the chaos to just subside. And literally, this child comes up to me, this young little boy, I was in 7th grade, a hall, comes up like inches from my face and just stares at me, like processing. Who are you? Are you a new student? Like, what's your purpose here? Doesn't say a word to me. And then a girl comes up and does the same thing. They're like behind each other. They immediately go behind me and start lining up against the wall. I just have all these kids lined up against the wall, thinking that I'm a new student. And then the teacher comes out of the room like, what is happening? It was so awkward.
Yeah, my friend Maya is a teacher at a middle school, and she's about your height, Latte. And she teaches middle school orchestra right now, and man, it's like, I think people underestimate how, I think people think that kids will automatically just not respect you if you look young, but I don't think that's true at all. I think it's the kids I found,
but it's hard.
Yeah, I think they were probably they might have been a little bit like, are you look so young? But they're still they do their best to be. I think kids for the most part do their best to be kind to their teachers. I really do. And that's been my experience working in schools as a short woman as well. But I do find that the biggest challenge comes with other teachers. Older teachers do not like younger teachers.
No.
They don't. If they are working, most clinical educators I've worked with are like, please avoid the teacher's lounge for your first year, because in the teacher's lounge, a lot of talk gets going, and frankly, a lot of the talk is inappropriate, to be honest with you. Like, a lot of it's not explicit or anything like that, but about it, students, about personal things about students that should not be being discussed in the teacher's lounge. And there are great teachers that, I know my music teachers, the arts team, when they'd go in and eat lunch together, would be like, oh, Panda's in this class. I was in all the arts classes at one point, except for chorus, and I still think Miss Hickox is bitter about that. I was really bitter that I didn't join women's chamber and the end of things. So I pretty much had all of them at one point. And the last year of high school, I had them all at the same time. And the dance teacher, and it wasn't inappropriate talk. It was just they thought it was funny that I was literally in all of their classes. And the dance teacher, Ms. Bowman, was like, Panda, do you have a brother? And I was like, yeah, he's a freshman. He said, oh yeah, we were talking about you, and we were trying to figure out if your brother was in the theater teacher's class. And I was like, oh my God. So yes, can confirm, teachers do talk about you in the teacher's lounge.
1,000%.
Don't be fooled. 1,000%. So,
dude, I'm pretty sure I had a teacher, I think I told you all junior year, that teacher that absolutely hated my guts. Didn't believe me that I had bad eyesight, made me go get a doctor's note from my eye doctor saying that I had bad eyesight. Because I couldn't see her. So she used to print tests out on a half sheet of paper, and it was 30 vocabulary words we had to define.
I hated that.
I couldn't see it because I had a half sheet of paper. So I literally once, she was like, okay, time's up, put the pencils down. And she looked at me and she was like, I said, time's up. I was like, I know, but I'm not done. And she was like, well, that sucks then. I was like, well, I know all these. And she's like, well, why didn't you finish? I said, because it's too small. I can't read it. And she looked at me and with this completely insulted, she hated my guts. I did nothing wrong to her. She just hated my guts. She just looked at me and was like, okay, why is it so small to you then? I was like, because I can't see it. I was like, I have a severe astigmatism in both my eyes. I wear contacts and I also wear glasses. And I was like, even with my contacts and my glasses, it can only correct it so much. And I was like, you can ask anyone in the room right now, because I have had these people in classes with me, some of them since elementary school. And they know me. They know I've worn glasses. They know when I started wearing contacts. And I was looking around the room, people are nodding like, yeah, he wears glasses, he wears contacts. She was like, I don't believe you. Unless you have a doctor's note or something as proof, I don't believe you.
Here's my thing. And I'm going to take this from a person who is a couple of tests and professional developments away from getting a teacher's license. Right? I'm going to take that from this perspective, because I know the law about how teachers are supposed to abide by things, right? And she is very lucky that she did not get sued. Do you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
because
my parents got so mad. My mom
sent
a doctor's note in with a note attached saying, you should have believed my child. How dare we have to go and get this doctor's note?
Here's my thing. So, for those of you that aren't really familiar with education law, which I'm assuming is most of y'all, that maybe, excluding those of you that may have a disability or has a child with a disability or, anything like that, or somebody that you love with a disability, any kind of disability. There's a federal law called IDEA, that's Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act. So basically, the law states that those with disabilities have the legal right to a properly accommodated for and individualized education. So under IDEA, there are a couple of different plans that can be put in place. The one that more people probably know about is IEP, which is an individualized education program. And that one basically is something a bunch of teachers. Normally, you're going to have the special education teacher, depending on what type of. The IEP is normally for students that require more advanced care and might need to be in pull-out classes. Every now and again, students like those with Down syndrome, those with very severe autism or severe learning disabilities, or even just moderate, tend to have IEP plans. And so basically the plan state, like all teachers in the school are required to, things like extra time on tests, extended assignment deadlines, all those kinds of things. And IEPs are legal documents. Like, if you don't follow them as an educator, you could be taken to court. Back in the day, they didn't allow teachers to be sued as individuals. They would sue the whole school system. But now, teachers can be sued on an individual level for not accommodating for a student with an IEP plan.
Dude, now, I wish you had known this 5 years ago when I was in that stupid women's class.
Well, you wouldn't qualify for an IEP plan because you have a physical disability. So that would be a 504 plan.
Yeah, which still falls under
IDEA
laws.
Yeah.
All of that falls under the ADA.
Yeah. So IDEA. For those of you that aren't familiar with 504 plans, because they're actually a little bit more common, and I know Muse is probably somewhat familiar with that. I believe you did have a 504 plan, correct?
I still do in college.
The 504 plan. So the age of people who are covered by IDEA are from 3 to 21. So you are covered by IDEA in the educational system up until you're 21 years old. So those 504 and IEP plans follow you through college. And it's very helpful, and it's nice to know you have the legal right to enforce that you need accommodation. So a 504 plan, and Muse, I know you know all about this. It's very similar to an IEP in the sense where like a team of people get together, figure out what you need through observation and testing. They're a little bit different because they're specifically for people with disabilities that are not education or learning related.
Not always.
Not always. So they also, people with ADHD typically qualify for 504 plans. So it does, but ADHD is a little bit different since it's not specifically a learning disability. So it falls under that weird, like, in-between line. But most people with physical disabilities, like you technically have, would fall under a 504 plan. So basically, like, you say, like, hey, I need this because I'm in pain all the time, or I need extra time to get to class because I'm a little slower and it's harder for me to walk from place to place, that kind of stuff, or I need to be seated closer to the board because I can't see. I need bigger print tests because I can't see them.
I need to be closer to the board because I need to see. And I've never had an issue. Teachers are always like, okay, you wear glasses, you wear contacts.
Well, for the most part, teachers,
It was just this one teacher that was like, I don't believe you. You need to bring proof. I was like, most people don't even know what a severe stigmatism is.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm like totally making that up. Like, yes, 100%.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't have any issues with any of my except for one of my professors because he's a douche. But like typically, I never had a problem. But I still have a 504 plan in place just as a precaution regarding
my family. I didn't want to be treated differently from other kids because of my serious social anxiety. So my parents were like, fine, we're not gonna just make sure you request privately from the teachers and your professors that you sit close to the board so you can actually see things.
And most teachers
most of them have accommodated me. It was just that one teacher that was like, I don't believe you, you need to bring in proof. I was like, I can take my contacts out right now for you if you want.
That's another thing.
I'm not making this up.
That's another thing.
No, that's another thing with any of those types of plans. It's not, no other student is actually supposed to know about it. It's supposed to be completely private. A lot of times you hand in a letter. like sending a letter to the teacher that indicates what the accommodations you need, so that way you're not supposed to be targeted. You're not like, who has a 504 plan? You raise your hand. And
right. Like, HIPAA protects those students as well. IDEA falls under HIPAA law as well. So teachers are not legally allowed to discuss 504 and IEP plans with other students unless it's in supreme confidence and completely necessary. Yeah. So it is very, very rare that you're going to see a teacher like blurt out. And frankly, it is the responsibility of an educator to request to see IEP and 504 plans of students in their classes. Like, I, as a music teacher, am going to have hundreds of kids that I see throughout their time at the school, right? And it is my responsibility to go to the front office and be like, hello, I'd like to request access to all the 504 and IEP plans that my students are going to have. And I have the legal right to see them and make a plan for them.
Yeah. That's crazy. You shouldn't even have to ask. That should be automatically sent to you.
It depends. It really depends on the school. Some schools are a lot better about. People don't think about the arts teachers as often with 504 and IEP plans, I think. So a lot of us have to go get them ourselves. But still, I have the legal right to see them and request to see them. And it's my legal responsibility to do so as an educator. So, yes, woof. Honestly, I know that it was different, but 504 plan really would have been worth getting for you. And
because like my accommodations are just like, I need to sit in the front. I get to leave early, or I get to arrive late. Back at our high school, I had a wheeling backpack so I didn't have to have strain on my back.
Yeah.
And I got to use the elevator at our high school.
Right.
Like those were my stuff. Yeah, y'all abused that power with me.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Not that often, but every now and again.
If you were feeling tired, or like I have.
And we would never be without you.
Yeah.
We never did it when you.
I'll say.
Well, first of all, the elevator required a key, so it was only given to students that required the elevator.
Oh God, I hated that elevator though. Occasionally, the doors didn't close.
It freaked me out so hard. The elevator
was gonna like fall in plummet every time.
Can I say, the elevator at the music school is just like the elevator at the high school. So can I say that? It's awful. They're old. So for those of you that aren't familiar with elevators or how they work, like specifically, and I've learned how they work because it's crazy how bad mine are. These are like storage elevators and like, transfer elevators. And for those of you that aren't aware, those elevators don't need to be inspected as often. So they are not very good. My friend, a couple of weeks ago, I was in the music building because rehearsals were still going on. I had to come down and get my violin and get ready to go to my rehearsal. And my friend called me when I was on the first floor of the music building and was like, Panda, are you in the building right now? And I was like, yeah, I just got here. I just parked. What's up? And she was like, I'm stuck in the elevator right now. And the emergency button is not working. And I was like, oh my God. So I ran up to the third floor to drop off my stuff. And the cello professor, my friend plays cello for context, ran into me. And she is also the head of the string ed department. So we're very close. And we have a pretty close professional and personal relationship. And she was like, oh, hey, how are you, Panda? What's up? And I was like, Robin is stuck in the elevator right now. So me, Dr. Wee, the cello professor, and this other guy who is he's a voice professor, that the voice professors and the string professors pretty much all have their offices on the third floor. We were all running around. I finally found her on the fourth floor, which is where the practice rooms are. And I could hear her because the door hadn't closed all the way, like you were saying. So it wasn't moving because the door wasn't closed and the safety lock couldn't engage. And I was like, "Are you in there? Can you hear me?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, oh my God, I hear you." And so I closed the door manually, and that's how we got her out.
Did I tell you guys about an elevator incident at my college 2 years ago?
Yeah. What? Tell me about it.
Okay, this is an elevator in a dorm at my school, and this happened like at 11 p.m. A friend of mine was going downstairs from a 4th floor with 4 other friends in the elevator. That elevator, like what happened to Panda's friend, got stuck. Problem was, they called for help, but about maybe a minute later after they called for help, a cable snapped. And the elevator fell all the way to the bottom.
Were they okay?
Surprisingly, they escaped with just some bruising, but it took 2 hours for the firefighters to get the doors open after that.
Oh my God! That's horrifying!
Yeah, my friend tells me this as I was heading into an elevator, and she's like, "Hey, let me catch a lift with you." I'm like, "You just fell in an elevator. What the hell? How are you
my God.
I'm like, why in the world
Well,
do you want
thank
to
God
get in
they
an
were
elevator?
okay.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's another one of those days. God.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, we have a bunch
God.
of weird stories at my school. From that to, I have so many idiots at my school trying to pet black bears right now.
Yeah, we got black bears popping up on campus here too, and people are, it's like, don't go near the woods because there are black bears, and people are like, where?
Bears. Oh yeah, no, they are walking out in the middle of our campus. It's not from the woods. They're just walking in the middle of the courtyard.
We haven't seen any actually on campus. I think it's because due to COVID, not a lot of people are having food on campus, so they're not being drawn in. Yeah, they're not being attracted to campus, so.
It doesn't matter. We always have 2 mothers. One of them has 2 cubs, and the other one always tends to have 3 cubs.
Right. Oh my God.
And idiots are like, I want to pet the cubs.
Why would you do that?
Oh, that's the word.
Why would you do that?
They're going to get mauled. They're going to get mauled. They're going to die.
Yeah, like, I almost thought I was going to die one time because I was walking back to my dorm at like 1 a.m. from the art department. I stay up very late, too late a lot of times, but I was walking back and I'm like, what are these little forms? And I see 2 black cubs in front of me. I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here. Mind you, I was on a pathway between 2 buildings, so I didn't really have anywhere to go. And then I'm in my head, I'm like, where's the mother? And the mother was behind me.
If the cub is around, the mom is somewhere nearby.
Also, if you see the cub, run, because it means the parent is nearby and she will kill you.
Problem is, I was in between the mother and the cub. And I was trapped.
Run diagonally. Become a crab!
Wolf, there was a building on either side of me.
Learn to fly. Learn to fly, learn to become Spider-Man.
Learn to fly. You can fly, you can fly, you can fly.
No, I climbed on top.
Spider-Man, climb the building.
I climbed on top of a fence and just went up there and got onto like a balcony because I was like, nope. Nope.
Yeah, that's when you just nope out of there. Nope.
Yeah, and sure enough, the mother just walks on by to get to her cubs, and it's like, oh my god.
Black bears are actually pretty chill. It's brown bears you gotta worry about. Brown bears are territorial. Black bears are more afraid of you They're avid tree climbers, and they're omnivores that like to eat a lot of berries and roots along with meat. So honestly, a black bear isn't the worst thing. That being said, if the cub is around, the mom is around, and she'll get very protective of the cub. So you do still need to beware of them because they're a bear.
Yeah, the mothers are very scary. Not to mention, one swipe from them can easily kill you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what type of bear was it?
Black. We have black bears.
Oh, yeah, those things are cats. You probably weren't in any danger. Although mother bears are much more aggressive.
Except for sometimes the moms can get very aggressive.
The mother gets
sometimes,
pissed.
but for the most part, black bears are pretty much harmless. If you grew up in the South, and I have a lot of family in the mountains, so I've encountered plenty of black bears in my life, and they're pretty much like cats. If you clap at them, they'll go away. So if you see a black bear, please don't freak out. It's probably more scared of you than you are of it. However, grizzly bears are a different story.
Although I will counter that, we have a fenced courtyard around my art building, and we had the door open, and one of my friends, you guys met him, Jamie?
Yeah.
I see him starting to run towards the gate, and what I see behind him is a black bear running.
She was probably a mom, I would think.
Probably, but he gets in, we immediately close the door, and Bear's just trying to get at the door.
Yeah, I would assume it's that's a mom. Probably a mom. Probably a mom that had just had a litter of cubs or something.
Probably, but she was pissed.
It's still scary. She's probably pissed because she probably didn't realize it, but he was probably near her den or something. And
this was in the middle of the schoolyard.
It's entirely possible that she smelled that it was a guy and was very threatened.
Yeah, no, she did have cubs. She had 1 month cubs. They were way off down the hill.
But still, mother bears, if you're anywhere close to their cubs, are very aggressive. So that's not very shocking to me.
No, I just found it funny that I see him running.
It's so hilarious.
It's just a bear.
But he's lucky it was a black bear and not a grizzly because he would have been screwed.
God.
So
yeah, I never want to encounter a grizzly bear for crying out loud.
Grizzly bears are incredibly territorial. If you see a grizzly, or even if you see scratches on it, so grizzlies like to mark their territory by putting scent markings and scratches on trees. If you see that, you need to leave. If you see a grizzly bear, you need to run.
Hi, Shiota.
Hi, Shiota. Hi.
Hey. We're talking about grizzly bears.
Yeah, I noticed. Everything's pissing me off.
Well, after this, I can watch that anime with you.
Yeah, I need a little bit of normalcy.
What?
Yeah, nowadays, between the election and everything, screwing up
The elections being a tease, life is being a bitch, same old.
Same old, normal. Yeah.
And the thing I talked to you about yesterday, a wolf, that's a pain.
We should probably wrap up in a minute here. It's been about an hour.
Oh, you guys are still calling him. You stop talking to y'all in code name now.
I know. Yeah, we're still recording. Well, we hope, like I said, thank y'all so much for listening. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, whether it's on YouTube or Anchor or Spotify, wherever you're listening to us. Thank you so much for listening to our little... I know, but I think we're all tired, and I think we're ready to wrap up.
This is a shorter podcast episode.
Yeah, just thank you all so much for listening, because I know there have been starting to people stream in and listen to us, and that's really nice, and we appreciate every single one of y'all. And like I said in the beginning of this podcast, and I'm sure the others will speak for me, we hope you are staying healthy, and we hope you are staying so safe this election cycle, because it is vicious and it is nasty.
Yeah, please stay inside. Please don't do stupid things.
Don't do anything you will regret.
Despite who wins, people are going to get mad and people are going to riot and everything. Just stay away from stuff. Stay inside where it's safe.
Stay inside. Please have an escape.
Please don't go out and get in large groups of people.
Yeah. You have the legal rights to peacefully protest. Please be careful if things escalate. Please have an escape plan. If you can look it up, have supplies ready, all that stuff. I don't want to fearmonger, but it's important to be prepared, especially if you're in one of those states that's incredibly polarized. Yeah. So we love you all so much, and please, like I said, stay safe this election cycle and have a fantastic rest of your week. Thank you all for tuning in tonight.